welcome everybody to episode 3 of the On the Record podcast with RJ. You already know we're gonna go straight into it, man. I just want to let y'all know one thing before I get started here. I'm sick of racism, man. I'm tired of and it's not even. I don't want to say it to be on just some trying to hop on whatever wave is going right now or anything like that. I say it because I'm tired of seeing it in like little ways. I feel like in culture in general, we've made prejudice kind of like acceptable to a degree, and I think it's gotten really weird, man. If you guys watched episode 1, I talked a little bit about how I'm a big sport guy. I love basketball, I love football, things of that nature. So when it comes to basketball, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm a super casual when it comes to like women's basketball. I am just now starting to it's just now catching traction for me. I didn't I would say that I was watching it a little bit back when Candace Parker, I think Candace Parker, she retired, right? See, I'm already showing how much of a casual I am. This is crazy. They're gonna cancel me off rip. But so I think Candace Parker retired. I'm pretty sure. I checked it out a little bit because I would play I was playing NBA Live 2K, stuff like that, where you could play as like the WNBA players and stuff like that. So I knew who Candace Parker was. I didn't necessarily pay attention to the WNBA. I remember when Jaden Ivey got drafted to the Pistons, and I found out that I believe it was his mom had played for the Detroit Shock. So that was like kind of another thing, but the Shock doesn't even exist anymore. So anyway, I say all that to say I'm a super casual when it comes to this stuff. I'm kind of a newcomer to the WNBA scene as far as actually seriously sitting down to watch the games. So I hopped on a lot of the same bandwagon a lot of people hopped on was the Clark+Angel Reese bandwagon. And I was literally the first time that I watched, I think I heard about her going crazy against Michigan, which is so crazy because I'm a Michigan fan. And I remember they played Iowa one time, and I heard about this girl that went off and had like 30, 40 points pulling up from deep. And I'm like, who the heck is this? So I hit up the highlights on YouTube, and I seen, first of all, that she's a guard. So I'm like, okay, so she's a guard pulling like this. And I couldn't help but notice her skin complexion. So I was like, okay, so we got a white girl going crazy. This is pretty dope. I like that. Because I feel like, for one thing, it's Iowa. I don't know of anyone black in Iowa. So, that's already unique enough. I'm watching an Iowa basketball game, and then I'm watching kind of an up and coming, I guess, star of the game at this point in time. I'm not a big like college hoops guy anyway, let alone women's college hoops. So I'm like, okay, let me check this out. Pay attention more to the tournament, and then I got put on the Angel Reese, got put on the ArJay Johnson, who's actually a dope musician, by the way. So I'm just like kind of coming into it as this last WNBA draft is taking place. So as I'm watching Caitlin Clark get drafted, Angel Reese get drafted, Rakia Jackson, Cameron Brink, and then I see people like the Aces. I'm starting to hop on the Aces bandwagon. I'm just hopping on the bandwagon because I'm a new fan, y'all. Please don't hate me. So I like the Aces. I like the way they play. I like the Liberty. Obviously Sabrina being in the 3-point contest with Steph was crazy. So, but I couldn't help but notice that everybody wasn't quite as happy about the wave as me. I found it interesting that I saw some people kind of critiquing Caitlin, and then other people, specifically, it's usually Caitlin and Angel that usually get like the scrutiny. It's the rest of the players are kind of subject to the media scrutiny. That's just what it is. But I notice most of the time when people are talking crazy, it's about either Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese. So what I did, I took to the social media, and I wanted to see what people were saying, kind of about these two specific players, because these two seem to be the biggest names in controversy. most of the time the people that are uh I guess critiquing Caitlin Clark um tend to look a little more like me. And most of the time the people that are critiquing Angel Reese look a little less like me, if you know what I'm getting at. So I found it interesting that that all of that they called Angel Reese. They used the word that I really don't think a lot of people understand what the word means. People called her ghetto. And I'm like, I don't think y'all really understand what that means. So respectfully, what I did was I decided to look up the meaning of the word. I just wanted to see if I was tripping. So I'm looking at in slang, right? If you want to go kind of a more urban context, it usually means behaving in a low class manner. I don't know if you guys have ever heard Angel Reese speak. I don't hear anything low class when she speaks. Just me. That's just my opinion. Um, Now, I mean, does she like have fun? Does she dance? I guess. I mean, you know what I mean, which is cool. You know, does she is she I guess confident in her ability on the court? Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I would hope that she's confident because it's like when you're a rookie and when you're inexperienced going into any sport, into any trade, into any skill or anything like that, you want to be confident in your ability because if you're not confident, then people aren't going to be confident that you're going to, be the best thing for their brand or whatever it is that you're doing. So if she wasn't confident, the WNBA wouldn't be pushing her like they are. So confidence is a great thing. I don't really like Angel Reese is not what I would describe as ghetto. That's just me, as my opinion. Um, but I think that a lot of times prejudice and things of that nature can kind of seep in through a few different ways. Like first, it really starts with what we think of people, and then it goes into how we speak about people, and then it kind of it I guess I don't want to sound super like new age, but like it manifests itself in our actions. So when we think a certain way about someone and we feel that we can talk about them in a negative light, then it leads to us mistreating them. And I think that's how a lot of this stuff happens. And I don't really get where it came from. I guess it's because like when you think about the storylines that the not necessarily the W, but when they were in college going against each other, you could kind of see there was a rivalry that the media kind of pushed. They do that where they just they narrative creation is good for ratings. So what they did was they took these two specific players because there wasn't really much of an argument. They were the two best players on the respective teams, and they made them like these mortal enemies when they never really acted like it before. So I think what a lot of people did as fans is we kind of bought into that narrative, um, and I get that to an extent because one of the most fun things about being like a sports fan is being able to have like a rival team or someone that the crowd is gonna boo every time they come in. So that's like that's the fun part of it. Um, but it got a little too far when I seen some comments, bro. Some crazy they be saying some wild stuff. And I'm like, man, you would not say that to her face, bro. I promise you. Um, but that's kind of the unfortunate nature of social media is it's like um we get so bold that we say things on a keyboard, kind of, for on a digital tip but it's we wouldn't actually say anything close to that in person to somebody. And that level of kind of fakeness um and capping is unfortunately just taking over social media. And I love social media, but I think that it's gotten way too far, especially for people that are popular. um you know and I'm not saying this necessarily because none of these people need my help. They ain't gonna listen to this, but the reason why I'm doing this is because I want you guys to understand my perspective on this thing. This is the whole point of, on the record is like everything I say you can trace back to me. So like I'm gonna be consistent in what I say. Obviously, I grow and and evolve, and my mind changes about certain things. But I still stand by what it is that I said. Even if I was wrong, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I was wrong, but I did say it. But this is one of them situations where I don't think I'm wrong. I'm just being honest. Um, but I think, yeah. So our thoughts lead to our words, lead to our actions. Sometimes it's in reverse. Sometimes it's not quite that order. But I think a lot of times that's how that kind of mindset comes from, that partiality that we have toward people that don't necessarily look like us. And it can come from a level of jealousy. Sometimes when you're envious of someone's success, or you're thinking about your lack of success in a certain area, and um you see somebody succeeding at it, and it makes you feel some type of way because you're like, dang, I've been working hard at this for, you know what I mean, how amount of years, and here they come. And I think that kind of a little bit of a segue there is kind of what some of these WNBA players might feel about Caitlyn. I don't know any of them personally, but it is interesting that she came in with a shoe deal, man. I mean, she didn't even touch a WNBA court, and she automatically had relevance. Like, and it's due to the fact she's marketable. That's just what it is. She's marketable. And any sports league that specializes in entertainment is going to care about who's marketable over, you know what I mean? Like, at times over the better player. Now, obviously, she's a rookie, so I don't think we'll really know what type of player she'll become until like she really hits her prime and hits her stride in the league. But um, I listened to there was one player, I believe it was I think it was Lexi Brown, that was kind of talking crazy about Caitlyn, and I was like, man, dang, like you kind of harsh, man. I mean, like, can you let her touch the court first, and it seemed like there was kind of a level of like of jealousy there, because in her mind she's like, I've been hustling, I've been grinding, I've been busting my butt, and then here come this white girl, and then she's making us relevant. So I understand why why people would be upset, because it's like, I'm like, dude, I have been like, that'd be like if somebody came in and did this podcast better than me as like a guest or whatever. Like if I had to step out for a second and I had like a guest host or whatever, and they ended up killing it, and then my views go just skyrocket, and then I probably feel some type of way if I came back and somebody did on the record better than me. So and it's not even necessarily better than me, but it's because like it's something different, you know what I mean? And sometimes different appeals, different sells. That's why certain players are more popular than others, both in the NBA, WNBA, whatever the sport league is. If it's somebody that's different, or if it's someone that they know can bring a different audience, then they know that they want to capitalize on that. So, and you can feel how you feel about it, but that's just the way business is. I will say one thing though. They be hacking her. They be hacking Caitlyn. They be trying to bully her a little bit. They be hacking her. I've never. It's funny, man. When I watch the NBA, like it almost seems so soft compared to WNBA, because they be mean in the WNBA, man. Like they legitimately are trying. I'm surprised they don't just pull each other's hair and stuff like that. They must be against the rules or something, because like they really they be mad, bro. And NBA, like they be shaking each other's hand, giving each other dab, best friends at the end of the game. WNBA, I don't know. They hardly be looking at each other. They're like, that's it. That's the end of it. So it's interesting seeing how little of friendliness is in this game, because I'm a new fan, guys. I'm a casual. I'm sorry. I'm a casual. But yeah, she be getting hacked. That is partially what happens with being a rookie in any professional league, right? And again, same thing that I said with Angel Reese, I'm gonna say for Caitlin Clark. She doesn't need my help. She doesn't need defense of TikTokers. She don't need y'all going on there saying like, stuff like free Caitlin and all that. She's a rookie. She's gonna be fine. She'll toughen up. But yeah, yes, absolutely. She gets hacked. I found it interesting though that somebody said that she's got pretty privilege. I'm like, now hold on. Now you guys were not. No, stop it. Now, respectfully, Caitlin, if you watching, respectfully, no, y'all were not calling. Stop it. Don't spin that narrative just because you're. No, stop it. Okay, like there are people that were saying like you got white privilege and she got pretty privilege. I'm like, nah, y'all didn't. Y'all were not calling her pretty. Stop it. Y'all were not calling her pretty. Don't do that. Don't do. I saw the memes, guys. Stop it. I saw the memes. Y'all were not calling her pretty. You do not get to spin that narrative any way you want to. Stop it. Y'all are full of bull. Stop it. I'm sorry. But anyway, Caitlin, I love you, man. I love Caitlin. I love Angel. This is not my opinion. This is the internet, and I am speaking on behalf of y'all to let y'all know that the internet is tripping. And it's interesting because a lot of people will take the jealousy that they might have for a certain player and make it seem like that's how players think of each other. And I'm like, guys, just because you're a fan and you're mad that you didn't make it in the league, it doesn't mean that they feel the exact same way about each other. Like, if people were saying like, oh, Angel Reese is jealous because Caitlin Clark is better. I'm like, okay, bro, here's the thing, right? Neither one of them, both of them are rookies, so neither one of them have been really like killing it as far as like efficiency goes. Caitlin leads the league in turnovers. And some of those turnovers are her fault. Some of them are just Butterfingers on her teammates' end. Angel Reese, I think, just got her field goal percentage at like 30-something%. So let's just keep it a buck. They're both rookies, so there's some rough spots, right? I can say for me, I personally don't enjoy Angel Reese's game aesthetically. It's similar to how I feel about Isaiah Stewart on the Pistons. I don't really enjoy watching him play. I love him as a player. He seemed like a great dude. I'm glad he plays for the Pistons. But do I want to watch Isaiah Stewart highlight video? Not really. Do I want to watch Angel Reese highlight video? I watch it for the culture, and I want to see how many boards she got because she be dogging the boards. But I mean, come on, man, the missed layups, and then Caitlin be pulling up from deep. Like is she not making a whole lot of those? Not yet. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna develop. They're gonna keep getting better. But the fact that people tried to create this beef that isn't there. Like, it's difference between being competitive and hating somebody. Like, it's not like just because I'm competitive and I have a certain amount of competitive energy toward my opponent, that doesn't mean that I have beef with my opponent. And the media just tried to create that where it's just like, either one of them hates each other. And Angel's literally been quoted, where she said, like, I love Caitlin. We've been competing since we were in AAU. It was always fun and always competitive. And she literally said this, guys, look, this is the key. She said, one day, hopefully me and her can be teammates. Which they are teammates now because they both got voted All-Star. Shout out to y'all. And she ends it by saying, because she's a great player and a great shooter and a great person and a great teammate. Do that really sound like she hates her? Like, come on, guys. We got we got to stop making these narratives, man. I don't know who to blame. I don't know if it's fans. I don't know if it's it's probably fans. Yeah, it is. It's fans. Because the fans kind of drive the narrative forward. And then the media is like, this is what they want to hear, so we're gonna talk about it. But this is not these narratives that we create are not real. Like there's so many things in sports that we make up. Like I have oh my goodness, bro. Maybe I shouldn't talk about this. Maybe the Holy Spirit telling me to be quiet. All right, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. But I have people that create narratives about athletes. And it's like, bro, you're not there. You're not in a place to be like, if you're around them, I get it. But there's people that are in groups and that are in these public kind of boards or communities that just make up all this stuff. And I'm like, how do you know? You don't even know these guys. So what are we doing? So I don't I try to stay away from that because I think that it could get real nasty because people have such a bias toward their favorite players and toward their favorite, their whatever the case may be, to where it kind of blinds them to where their favorite player can do no wrong. Like I'm a big fan of a lot of different players. But if somebody like I'm a Miles Bridges fan as far as a player. As a human being, I mean, so like but as a player, you know what I'm saying? So I can admit that he doesn't seem like a great human being, you know what I mean? But as a player, did I want him in a Detroit uniform? Yes, I did. But do I think he's a good role model or a good example for kids that are going to be at the games? No. Um, and some people can't really separate that in their mind. So, and I'm not saying moral failure is good or anything like that. And I'm not saying that like any problems that you have off of a court or off of a field outweighs who you are as a person. But I'm saying it's two different conversations, in my opinion. And I think that to merge the two, you have to know the person, and on a personal level. And if you don't, then it's really hard to have a discussion like that. So that's why I try not to get into every single conversation when it comes to attacking people's character, because I don't know them personally. And I only know what I know, and I know um people's habits, you know what I mean? So if I know somebody that's similar to them, then I might have kind of a certain idea of what the pattern could be if they act a certain way. But I don't know these people. So I think that, I guess the bigger picture here is just the bias that comes from being a sports fan and from being prejudiced but not really dealing with it. Because I think a lot of people have prejudice that they don't really know about until it comes out. There was somebody that said, I might be paraphrasing, but somebody said like the real you comes out in adversity. So like when you're presented with a situation that's not necessarily convenient for you, or you're in a situation where a different emotion other than happiness or joy kind of exudes out of you. Usually that's when your uncensored feelings about something or somebody come out. And either you now here's the thing. I'm not one of those guys that believes that like I didn't mean what I said type thing. I don't believe in that. I believe that you meant it. I believe that you didn't mean it in the way that it was said. So if you're arguing with somebody and you call them out of their name, that's how you really felt about them in that moment. You might not have wanted it to come out the way that it did, but you clearly feel a type of way about that person you've been holding that in. And so I think that like a lot of this stuff is closet prejudice, because there's a lot of people that don't really have a reason to hate on Angel Reese, but they don't want to say that reason when they hate on her. And the same thing with Caitlin Clark. So I think that when it comes to this type of thinking, you have to, for yourself, be able to check what's going on in here. Because I know for me, there's certain things that I've had to either apologize for, or there's things that I have had to delete in a comment section, or there's things I've said to people that have cut me off in traffic that I should not be saying. And it's not that I didn't mean what I said. It's that I didn't want it to come out the way that it was said. And that's one thing that I just want to challenge people a little bit to just, check yourself and wonder why you're hating. If you're hating for a sport related reason, that's cool. If you're, whatever the case may be, there's a different level of hate for everything. But if you're hating for anything other than just, the fact that, if you're hating for a reason other than the sport that they're playing, then you might want to figure out what that reason is. That's just my opinion. And I think that I think that one thing for me as a casual fan, there are people that are mad at me because it's like, oh, you ain't been watching the W this whole time. I'm like, no, I haven't. Like, I'm sorry, I haven't. Like, because I didn't know what it was on for real. I really didn't. And because I like certain players' game, I started watching it. And now I'm a fan of people like Asia Wilson. I'm a fan of people like I love Kelsey Mitchell. She's a dog to me. Aaliyah Boston, like Sabrina Ionescu, Kelsey Plum. I mean, like what is her name? Camila Cardoso, who plays for Chicago as well. She got drafted as well with Angel. So like, even if I was brought to the sport because of this last draft class, you know what I mean? I'm watching the sport now, so now I'm really hip to what's going on. So now I can actually call myself a fan. But a lot of people are mad because I'm a casual. And it's like, you got to start somewhere, bro. Like I'm sorry, I didn't come out the womb watching WNBA basketball. If I don't know all the Hall of Famers, I'm sorry. Please educate me. If I don't know, let me know. Hit me up. Like you can shoot me a DM. You can drop a comment like, hey, check out these highlights, everything like that. Let's get it. I'm down. I love hoops, so I am 100% down to learn. So, and this agenda that like, I don't understand where this. You know, I'm gonna get controversial, bro. I'm gonna advocate for all of the bandwagons. I'm a Pistons fan. I think that by being a Pistons fan, I should be able to join any bandwagon I want. Now I'm not going to, but I think I should. I think I should have that prerogative because I'm 25 years old, and the Pistons. Let me see. In the time that I've been watching NBA basketball, the Pistons have made the playoffs once, and they played and they got swept. No. They made the playoffs twice. They got swept both times, but they made the playoffs twice. I wasn't watching like that, so I didn't know. I am a newer fan. I'm 25. I started watching basketball when I was about 12 or 13, so I was a late bloomer to the whole thing. So at the end of the day, I think that as a Pistons fan, because of all the pain that we've had to endure, I think I should be allowed to hop on the bandwagon if I want. If the Pistons are not doing anything this year, you will see me wearing Knicks merch. I guarantee you, I'm a Knicks fan this year. If the Pistons don't do nothing, I'm all the way in. Let's go Knicks. That's my bandwagon. I'm claiming it now, and that's on the record. You go ahead, watch this episode once the NBA season starts. If the Pistons go on another historic losing streak, then you know where to find me. But yeah, so I think that to kind of go back to what I was saying, this whole villain storyline that y'all created, she didn't create this. And this just all of this weird stuff that y'all try to that you try to attribute to people that you don't know. And obviously if you know them, I'm not knocking you or anything like that. I can say as a fan of both of them that this can't we got to stop, guys. I'm saying this as a fan. I'm saying this as a fan of the game of basketball. We can be fans of two players at once. We don't have to make everything into a rivalry. We don't have to make everything into like, oh my goodness, these ESPN stats, bro. Like everything don't have to be about stats. Stats tell a huge amount of the story, not the whole story. Like this whole agenda that most of Angel Reese field goals made are her own misses. That's not even true. It's like relax. It's like 23%. But anyway, we ain't gonna go again. It's not about the stats. So eventually players are gonna be mad the fans is talking crazy. And they're not doing it because it's not good PR. So they're not gonna go out of their way to comment back to you. So they rather just go ahead and block your comment or delete your comment or turn their comments off or turn off tags or whatever the case may be. Because at the end of the day, they make more money than me. So by a lot, you know what I'm saying? And the salary in WNBA is still, I think they're underpaid severely. But they still making more than I am. So I think I'm underpaid too. So two things can be true at once. Yes, Caitlyn is a turnover machine. Yes, Angel is inefficient. And I'm a fan of both of them. And so to me, I just want to leave y'all with this, bro. Jealousy and envy makes us look stupid, and it reveals how prideful we actually are. Because even if we're looking at someone with jealousy and with envy, we're still looking at ourselves as the standard, and we're comparing our worst to their best, which is pride and insecurity are the same thing. They're just distant cousins. Um, so I just want to let y'all know, man, I'm a fan of both of them. I'm a fan of WNBA. I'm a fan of women's sports, women's basketball. I want them to continue to go up. I'm gonna keep going, keep watching. Hopefully they lower the rim so we can get some alley oops. But other than that, I appreciate y'all. And this is on the record. Pretty short episode for y'all today, but I'm gonna have a guest coming next episode, and I appreciate y'all for tuning in.